Well, good morning on this Easter Sunday 2020. Christ has risen. John Sentamu, the Archbishop of York, said on Friday, Good Friday, we are in the midst of a highly teachable moment. We'll come back to that one. But today's Bible reading is taken from John chapter 20 and it's the first 18 verses. Now the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb early, while it was still dark, and saw that the stone had been taken away from the tomb. Then she ran and came to Simon Peter and the other disciple whom Jesus loved, and said to them, they have taken away the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they have laid him. Peter therefore went out, and the other disciple, and were going to the tomb. So they both ran together, and the other disciple outran Peter and came to the tomb first. And he, stooping down and looking in, saw the linen cloths lying there, yet he did not go in. And then Simon Peter came following him and went into the tomb, and he saw the linen cloths lying there, and the handkerchief that had been around his head, not lying with the linen cloths, but folded together in a place by itself. Then the other disciple who came to the tomb went in also, and he saw and believed. For as yet they did not know the scripture, that he must rise again from the dead. Then the disciples went away to their own homes. But Mary stood outside by the tomb weeping. And as she wept, she stooped down and looked into the tomb. And she saw two angels in white sitting, one at the head and the other at the feet, where the body of Jesus had lain. And then Jesus said to her, Woman, why are you weeping? And she said to them, Because they have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him. And when she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, and did not know that it was Jesus. And Jesus said to her, Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you seeking? She, supposing him to be the gardener, said to him, Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away. And then Jesus said to her, Mary. And she turned and said to him, Rabboni, which is to say, teacher. And Jesus said to her, Do not cling to me, for I have not yet ascended to my Father. But go to my brethren and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God. So Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Lord, and they had spoken these things to her. Today is Easter Sunday 2020. We find ourselves in enforced isolation. Such an unpleasant experience, an unpleasant pause to our daily routine. And when I was a child, so often we watched the television. We had a choice of 3 or 4 channels. Often the sound would be lost or the picture would come and go, and a line would appear on the TV screen. Normal service will be resumed shortly. Now if your TV had problems with the sound, you had to wait a few minutes just in case that sign appeared. Otherwise you'd tinker with your set. Was it the fault of your set, or was it the fault of the broadcast? In the world today, will normal service resume? Well, for a small minority of churches it will. But for the rest, something new, something wonderful has been birthed. On the first Easter day, something quite extraordinary, something unprecedented happened. It was something that nobody had ever imagined. Jesus was very much dead, and he was very much now alive. How can this be? Not just spiritually alive, but he was walking. He was physically alive. He was here in physical form. The God of creation was back with all power and all authority. Jesus was now at work and beginning something new. Now, for us to be relevant today, we need to grasp something important. Jesus did not go to the cross, suffer, die, be put in a closed tomb, rise from the dead, ascend, to be seated at the right hand of the Father. just to get us into heaven when we die. Jesus came to create something new. Create something new. It was about starting a new world, extending his kingdom. We need to understand the resurrection narrative that was told in the gospel account is about creating something new. The first Easter, Jesus was dead and he was now alive. He is now alive. His purpose to bring heaven and earth into one. It was no longer about a geographical Israel, but about the whole world. The Apostle Paul explained this. The whole earth was God's. Jesus is back. He's alive and he's now at work. A new creation, the church. The church to be involved in the works of his kingdom. Now, if you are in business, you usually have a plan for expansion or gaining new or continuing work. But Jesus had achieved the unimaginable. What was the game plan? Did Jesus give them a 10.5-year plan? No. But he had taught them the principles of the kingdom which was in their heart. Jesus entered into a situation when his followers were lost without a shepherd. But on that first Easter, their shepherd was back. It was not on their understanding, but on his understanding. Jesus is now in control. They were all taken by surprise, whether Mary or the disciples. Jesus appeared in the midst of their sorrow, in the midst of their difficult situation, which is very much like today. The true message of Easter came to those followers of Jesus in their time of distress. Jesus appeared in the midst of their fear, in the midst of their anxiety. 2,000 years ago, it was a time of stress and anxiety. Same today. But as a person, you can change direction. Communities can change direction. Countries can change direction. Today, you can leave behind the old and go forward in the new. I started with the words of John Sentamu. We are in the midst of a highly teachable moment. We are in the midst of a highly teachable moment. Have a wonderful day, church. Have a wonderful day in Jesus, and be blessed.